Hey everybody, Shalom. It's Mike again, and of course, as I promised, here is the disapproval of gravity. So here we are on Wikipedia. I'm pretty sure everyone's familiar with that if you're surfing the internet and YouTube. Um, so you can't take this as science, it is community based. But it does describe gravity and give us the formula used, and which I will use and show to you that is false and is not true, and gravity is deception. To be honest, um, Nikola Tesla was correct in that he postulated an electric force called the ether. I prefer to say electrical magnetic, but it might not be actual magnetism, as that's still being discovered by physicists and true scientists who are actually using the scientific model and method to verify their theories, rather than this theory-based science that never really proves itself. It just comes up with more BS. Anyways, let's get to it. So here's gravity. There's a whole lot of verbal diarrhea here, and then let's focus in here on this. Newton's law of gravitation, of universal gravitation, okay? So Newton's law of universal gravitation, which postulates that gravity causes a force where two bodies of mass are drawn or attracted to each other according to a mathematical relationship, where the attractive force is proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Okay? So remember that. The product of their masses. Whoops. Masses. Okay? Now let's zoom out and scroll down to Newton's theory of gravitation. Alright, and here's the liar himself. Newton's theory of gravitation. I could go into this, but let's just look at the formula here. The force of gravity equals the mass. Okay, when F is the force, M1 and M2 are the masses of the objects interacting. R is the distance between the centers of the masses, and G is the gravitational constant, right? So let's focus in on this right here, where F is the force, right? That's the alleged force. M1 and M2 are the masses of the objects interacting. So what we are told by these deceivers and Freemasons, is that the mass of the Earth interacting with the mass of our bodies and causes a force for us to be drawn down, right? So let's just, dropping stuff, but let's just take this little piece of paper right here. So supposedly the mass of this pair of goggles, these are so you can look at the sun. Anyways, the mass of this pair of goggles in relation to the mass of the Earth, alleged globe Earth, interact in such a way that it draws one to the other, right? So when we drop this, that's what we experience. But this is just not true at all. What it is an electric magnetic field that draws us towards the Earth, which is flat and geocentric and stationary, okay? So how do we disprove this? Well, within this equation, the force, the alleged force, right? There is a force. The force is real, right? If I drop this, that's real. There is a force. We're not denying the force, right? We're just refuting the description of it and what it is claimed to be. Okay, so the force is based upon the masses interacting, okay? That's great and wonderful, but the one key thing is those masses of the objects have to be absolutely constant, right? You cannot have gravity if the mass changes, right? Or gravity has to be absolutely constant because the mass of the Earth is constant, just like the mass of an object is constant, right? These glasses still have the same mass, still same amount of material, electrons, protons, neutrons, and everything. The same mass has to it. And the Earth has the same mass. It doesn't suddenly change, right? So then, what if gravity suddenly doesn't exist in certain areas? Well, then the theory of gravity is completely false. So let's zoom out of this and let's go to the television over here, where I will show you that gravity does not exist because the Earth is constant. All the mass of the Earth is constant, and the mass of all the bodies that we experience with are constant. I mean, yes, your mass changes when you drink a glass of water and you urinate or defecate, right? You lose and gain mass. But speaking of the rock of the Earth and all other solid objects, right? This controller, well, it's going to lose mass because it's got a broken piece in it. But aside from that, this is a video, 5 places where gravity doesn't seem to exist. The YouTube user is Beyond Science. He posts a bunch of stuff. Like if you scroll down, he does a lot of strange things, focuses on what are kind of unbelievable and bizarre things, unexplained. But this video of his, I've had a coworker verify this place existed in Poland. Just recently, a coworker on my recent site, the same site where you saw that my last video taken from, and he himself attested to seeing one of these places or living near it when he lived in Poland. He lives now, obviously, in Canada, and that's how we were talking because we were both electricians on the same job. So this was published back in 2014, and let's watch and see places where gravity doesn't exist.
You've probably heard about the story of Sir Isaac Newton. You know the story when he was sitting under an apple tree and then an apple fell on his head and that caused him to come up with the universal law of gravitation.
Also, just for the record and for anyone else watching this, this is fair use, and no copyrights are being claimed. I don't claim to own any of this. I'm not making profit off of this. I don't have any ads. So there's your disclaimer. Fair use policy.
Any two bodies attract each other with a force that is directly proportional to the product of their masses, and inversely,
right? Product of their masses. Masses have to stay constant.
Proportional to the square of the distance between them. Yeah, I have no idea what I just said. All I know about gravity is that it's supposed to keep us on the ground, and the fact that what goes up must come down, and if I lean over too much, I'm gonna fall over. But there are places on Earth where this law doesn't apply. Number 1.
So, hear that? The law of gravity does not apply. Therefore, the law of gravity is false. Let's rewind it 10 seconds.
The fact that what goes up must come down, and if I lean over too much, I'm gonna fall over. But there are places on Earth where this law doesn't apply. Number 1, the mystery spot, Santa Cruz, California. The mystery spot is a gravitational anomaly located in the red.
So if it's an anomaly, it's not that gravity suddenly changes, right? The mass of the Earth doesn't change. The reality is that gravity is false. Within Nikola Tesla's theory of the ether is that there's an electric field holding us to the Earth or pulling us towards the Earth, and that field could obviously have some of these portals or funneling areas where it comes in, that force is inversed or reversed and flows in and throughout the Earth. And that's what I would stipulate these areas, these gravity-free spots, or force-free spots.
Force just outside of Santa Cruz, California.
Exist.
The unexplained phenomena occurs in a circular area that is 150 feet in diameter. Now,
hear that? A circular area 150 feet in diameter.
In the mystery spot, your perception of the laws of physics and gravity are kind of questioned. So here,
there's the problem. It's not your perception, it's the reality that they're false. Gravity is false. It doesn't exist. Nikola Tesla was correct in his theory of the ether.
There's me performing my anti-gravity trick.
So, as you can see,
mystery spot.
we'll
Within the mystery
wind
spot,
this.
your perception of the...
So as you can see, he himself went there. The picture is of him. That's the same dude on the left that's making the video. It's him there, and he is defying the false theory of gravity because it's not true. We live on a geocentric Earth that is stationary, and there's an electric field that holds us down to the Earth and holds all the celestial bodies up in the atmosphere or the firmament. Okay, so let's keep going here.
And my anti-gravity trick. The mystery spot was discovered in 1939 by a group of surveyors who opened the area up to the public in 1940. Check me out again right here. I mean, I wish I could do that everywhere. Number two.
Anyways, just in case you don't believe it, he's been there himself, and I plan to also visit some of these places. I'm gonna hopefully look for one in Canada. If not, I will go to the States or wherever else I have to, and then perform my own tests and proofs for you guys, and just to illustrate that the truth is that we live on a geocentric, stationary Earth that is domed.
Spook Hill in Lake Wales, Florida. Now, gravity hills where cars appear to defy the laws of gravity exist.
Remember, they don't appear to defy the laws of gravity. Law of gravity is false.
All across the globe. Spook Hill is somewhat unique in that it's officially recognized by the town. There's a large sign on North Wales Drive explaining the legend of Spook Hill and how to experience the effect. Now, legend has it many years ago, an Indian village on Lake Wales was plagued by a massive gator. The chief, a great warrior, killed the gator in a battle that created a small lake. Pioneer mail riders first discovered their horses laboring downhill, thus naming it Spook Hill. When the road was paved, cars actually coasted uphill, and locals believe this is caused by the spirits of the gator or the chief or both. Number 3, St. Ignace Mystery Spot in Michigan. In the early 1950s, 3 surveyors named Clarence, Fred, and McCrae came from California to explore the Upper Peninsula. They stumbled across an area of land where their surveying equipment stopped working properly. As they continued their research of this land, they noticed a constant feeling of being lightheaded, later realizing their queasiness and problems with surveying equipment.
So they felt lightheaded, right? Some people have aversion to Wi-Fi signals and other wireless energy transfer. This is, adds to, it's not definitive evidence, but it adds to my theory and Tesla's theory that there is an electric field. And in these spots, it's reversed or inversed. And, a lot of study needs to be done on these places to really understand our actual reality and the Earth as it truly is, and as we can truly observe, not what some pseudoscientist postulates in a university somewhere who gets paid a lot of money to, write lies.
It's only occurred in an area about 300 feet in diameter. They felt they had discovered a mystery spot. Within its boundaries, a tall person seemed smaller by comparison. He could sit on a chair with its back legs balanced on a beam and front legs suspended in the air. Now, if I can find a mystery spot that will make me seem taller, then I'll just go and live there. Number 4, House of Mystery at Gold Hill, Oregon. The House of Mystery, or the Oregon Vortex.
I think I'll go here. I live on the West Coast. I live near, I live in Alberta. Oregon's just south of me. This would be something I could drive to and from in a matter of a couple of days.
Is a gold assay office built in the area in 1904. It slid from its foundation in the early teens, coming to rest at an odd angle. The Oregon Vortex is famous for height changes, as the relative height of the two people changes varying on where they stand. People have claimed that when bringing horses or other animals to the vortex, they would reverse and attempt to get away. The Oregon Vortex explains that not many animals live in this area due to this strange phenomenon. What's also creepy is that the Native Americans call the area the Forbidden Ground, a place to be shunned. Number 5, Cosmos Mystery Area, Rapid City, South Dakota. The cosmos of the Black Hills was discovered in 1952 by 2 college guys looking for a place to build a summer cabin. When they entered this area, they experienced a slight unbalance, which increased considerably on entering the old house. The guys were intrigued and camped on site while they investigated this odd phenomenon, which later became the Cosmos Mystery Area. So
did you notice in that the tennis ball was pushed in one
The
direction,
guys were in.
right? She pushes it with her hand, and the energy force in this area, the ether, pushes it backwards, reverses the energy, and pushes it away from the direction it was going.
Tree and camped on site while they investigated this odd phenomenon, which later became the Cosmos Mystery Area. In this mystery area, besides the typical water rolling uphill, tennis balls, when thrown, will change its trajectory in midair. Of course, the typical explanation for all these mystery spots is that they're all optical illusions. But I choose to believe that something else is causing all these phenomena. For example, optical illusions can cause surveying equipment to malfunction. It can cause animals to be afraid of a certain area. And you know, the biggest mystery spot of them all, the Bermuda Triangle, to this day still cannot be explained. So in conclusion, I believe there are more to mystery spots than just pure optical illusions. But let me know what you think in the comments below.
All right, so there you have it. Gravity does not exist because gravity is false. It's incorrect. Absolutely pseudoscience. There's no evidence behind it. And yeah, we live on a geostationary flat Earth that you can observe and test for yourself. Just, I encourage you to make a strong effort to break through the cognitive dissonance that comes from being indoctrinated into these beliefs of, space and the solar system and, being heliocentric and the globe model. We've been indoctrinated since we were children, and it's unfortunate that we have these lies, but it's because they're trying to enslave us. That's what the elite are trying to do. It's what they've been working on, and it goes back all the way to ancient Egypt, right? They worship the same gods as ancient Babylon. Do your research, right? And once again, don't trust me. Go test these things for yourself, all right? God bless, and I just pray that you would know the truth and come to an understanding that, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, is Lord of Lords, King of Kings, and the Bible is both scientifically and historically true. And yeah, I highly suggest anyone interested in the flat earth theory to also read the book of Enoch. It is the word of God as well, but within the book of Enoch is a very, very detailed description of the earth, the orbits of the sun and the moon, and the nature of the firmament. And if you want to look up the firmament, do some research into the Van Allen belts. Okay? God bless, and may you know the truth and be liberated from your slavery so that you can be a free agent, and pray that you would come to know Jesus, Yeshua. Peace.